Hotepu Gatekeepers, here is a video giving a sneak peek once again of the training coming up in June, on June 21st, 2014, for our Shamans 2014-2015 cycle of classes. We always start our new classes every summer solstice. This image is what is known in the white world as the Metternich Stele, and it is a carving from ancient Kemet that shows the first thing the golden beetle shaman learns as of this upcoming year. This is a carving whose function was to heal the inner child. It is a magical, spiritual scripture written in stone that guides the initiate to go from being a boy to a man. That's why in the main scene here you see a young boy. Because in order to become a shaman, or to become any being of power, you have to learn how to keep your inner child, how to keep your youthfulness and your curiosity, but not allow your childish complexes, your childish wounds or wounds from childhood to bleed into adult behavior. So this carving was used to help the initiate learn how to pull that off, how to stay a child at heart, and to use the powers of your inner child, not to deny him or to ignore him, but to embrace him, yet to keep him in his place. And that's a very tall order, because the main issue in the gay community now is what I call the Peter Pan syndrome. Because many gay men were unable to experience having little gay friends openly like hetero kids have, we cannot experience going to the prom without a lot of torture and pressure like heteros could. So many gay men lost the Western rites of passage that all young people and teens go through. As a result, we miss that stage of development, what's called the epigenesis ascendancy phase, the stage of psychological development that goes in sequence. We miss that, and so we try to make up for it as adults. We try to recapture our youth, our lost youth, as adults, and so we tend to stay locked in somewhat childish and puerile behavior patterns. And on one side, this comes out as, for example, the Gay Pride Parade, which is absolutely fabulous. It's full of color, the way that a youthful person would like. Things of color and fantasy and great imagery. That's one positive expression. Negatively, a lot of gay men are staying stuck in childish behaviors, immature responses, not being mature in relationships with each other. And so the Golden Beetle's job is to help initiate gay men not to leave your inner child, but to bring him with you in his proper place. Because in the Golden Beetle, as in all things of Kemet, the universe is made within order. There must be order. There must be harmony. Like in a symphony, there must be order to the notes, or it's just noise. And a human life is supposed to evolve in an orderly, harmonic way, where all parts of our psyche are balanced, not overdone, not underdone, not too arrogant, not too humble, not too pushy, not too weak, somewhere in the middle. And so the men will learn how to decode this tableau to help them deal with the mystery of rites of passage from a young gay shaman to a fully formed magical shaman. Because you see here this young child whom we call Ra, Rashera, the little Ra, is a young gay boy holding noxious animals, scorpions here. He's holding poisonous snakes. He's holding wild beasts. So this is clearly no ordinary child. This is a magical child. And your inner child is very magical. He can do things that are not of this world, because children have that imagination, that wonder, and they're able to tap the spirit world, whose main method of connection is the imagination, and is able to do things there that the adult within us has forgotten or cannot do. I'll give a little brief intro into some of this imagery here without going too far into it, because we really zoom into it during the training. But here you see a young gay boy's inner child, and here you're seeing figurines on the side. Here you have an ibis-headed man, the bird-headed man here. His name is Ma'a Tehuti. Atop a coiling, winding snake. And over here we have the mother. This is called Ast Hetru, also atop a winding, coiling snake. So these are figures in astrology. So this child would be the sun, the rising sun, S-U-N, also the S-O-N. This is the young gay boy whose life force is rising. It's still young. His magic is on its way up. And here is his father, because in astrology, the planet owned by the Ibis man is called Tehuti Apshetataui, Jupiter. And in our astrology system, Jupiter is always the significator of your father. So here we have the father, bringer of wisdom. Also in India, the father was called the guru. The word for father was guru. One of its meanings was father. And over here we have the mother. So here we have the child being influenced and supported. You see the father holding here, this support here, and the mother here. The father and mother's karmas, their traits, their DNA, enwrapping in this little kind of square shape here, the child's karma. You see here, this square is actually the womb. It's the womb of the mother. And inside the womb, the child grows. And the child is influenced by the father's DNA and the mother's DNA. Inside of this developmental egg, this kind of square-like thing is the egg of development in the womb, is Ra, the spiritual father, the life force. And we're seeing that mother and father, and here's the bad DNA in the genes, this snake of evil. You can barely see it here, but right here, there's a little knife going into the head of this snake. Also here's a little knife, very small to see angled, going into the head of this snake here. So here we're showing that in order for you to evolve and to grow up, you have to deal with the good, which are the gods, here, side of your parental DNA, and you have to banish the bad part of your DNA. These are the wounds. The snake corresponds to the wounds your father tends to give you, and these are the wounds your mother tends to give you. And it's the wounds and the hurts and the abandonments that we all felt as children by either our mother or father, be they there or not, that sting us, that stay with us. And so in the Golden Beetle, you learn how to go into this tableau and address the wounds that your Ka, your inner child, feels from growing up. The things mom said or did not say, that dad said or did not say, or do or did not do, that hurt you. You see? And those wounds are registered in the child's life force, which is Ra here. His subconscious mind registers these things, both in intrauteral, in the womb, intrautero, and growing up through life. And here we have the god Bes, the god that protects children. He is the god of initiation. The word Bes actually means to initiate, as in a priest. Besa means I'm being initiated. Bes means to burn away the negativity of our childhood wounds. He's also a god of joy and protection. So we use a lot of music. He was a musician, an artist, a musician in Egypt, a little dwarf man. So we use music to heal our inner child wounds. We put music into the brains or the minds of the inner child, that his brain can reprocess the wounds. You see here, these snakes resemble brain matter. They also resemble the intestines, which are called the lower brain in our system. Many things in the gay community that are bad, also of all people on the earth, many of our bad behaviors come from what we call a dirty gut. When your intestines are filled with toxins and putrefied foods and all kinds of bad things, it really affects your mind. So one of our first things we do is we clean up your intestines, which these snakes are implying. When you clean up your intestines, your brain also clears out. It becomes clarified. You think more clearly. You think more rationally like an adult. So here we're having an implication of diet influencing brain development in the child or the shaman. And once you have these forces cleaned up, your DNA cleaned up, your subconscious wounds here, Ra means subconscious mind, snake means wounds, you read it as subconscious mind's wounds. He takes them by the hand here, he grabs these fears, worries, insecurities, all the evil things that heteros said to us about being gay, all of the bashings they've done to us, both physically and verbally, and with their Allah and their Jesus and all these so-called deities attacking us. All those wounds we must grab by the horns and control them. Not be run over by these evil words and these evil behaviors of the heteros, but transform them. That's why they're scorpions, the symbol of the scorpion sign of transformation. Also, snakes are symbols of transformation before they shed their skin. And finally, I'll just touch upon these two symbols here, these two eyes with the arms. These correspond to the two brain hemispheres within the shaman that must be enlightened, for an eye perceives light. So the left and right brain hemisphere, this is the right brain, this is the left brain here, and we have to help the shaman to strengthen his brain, to develop the brain's higher functions. They say that we only use 10% of our brain, which is true. Now the obvious next thing is, well, how do I use the other 90? And it's these two symbols in this image that tell you how. Because Bess is a musician. He likes to play harps and lutes and flutes and guitars and tambourines. The way to awaken the brain hemisphere is through spiritual music, what's called mantras in Black India system, or we call them hekau. So the brains are developed. You see the brains here have the arms, meaning they are energizing, they are hailing the musician that is healing them. The word for this eye is called ujat, which also means to heal, to make whole and complete and sound. So to make the shaman's brain hemispheres balanced and healthy and sound, we must use sound, sacred music, in a state of trance where kids like to play, a state of high imagination, where he can kill all of his worries and fears and wounds, repairing his life force and its wounds, and taking the best from his parental input from his mother and father, and keeping the evil parts of the genetic pool stabbed in the head, knocked out, and under wraps. This is again a brief intro into this. We go into all of this. All of these symbols here are used in the first year of this 2014-2015 Golden Beetle training. The gay shaman learns how to fall asleep and to dream these scenes. A shaman must be a man of visions. He must be able to have visions simply from falling asleep. The golden beetle does not, if you do any kind of drugs or drinking in the golden beetle, you're not going to be allowed to stay in. We are very pure. We are very clean. You enter these states by the breath, by music and rhythm, by dance and color, by no artificial means. Only weak spiritual people need artificial means to enter the divine. The divine is natural, requires no such artificial chemical stimulants. Through deep breathing, through beautiful music, timed at the right stars, you will fall into trance as easily as you fall into sleep. That's a key thing about becoming a true shaman. Using your own pure energies to lift you up. So, again, it's a brief view of this podcast on a sneak peek into what the shamans will learn. And I tell you this. Once you learn how to go into this tableau, how to bring it to life while you are meditating or while you are dreaming and asleep, and to wake up in your dream and know you're awake, what we call wakeful shamanic dreaming, and you start engaging these beings and figures in this image, they will start talking to you and guiding you and helping you remember things and to heal wounds that you forgot about. Because once we go within, into Ra, your subconscious mind, it is all wise. It knows how to heal you. Our job during your training is to simply show you how to go in and make contact with your own inner spirit in an organic, healthy, and sacred manner. So, I pray this gave you a brief insight into some of the exciting things taught in the Golden Beetle training. Again, email us if you wish to get information about enrolling. Email us at our YouTube page here or at our www.rawgoldenbeetle.com site, and just let us know that you are interested, and we'll give you more information as it comes out. And we look forward to turning gay magical boys into gay magical men who have kept the beauty and the fun of their inner child. Dwell Wen Totepu.